Yeah, welcome to today's episode of Tech Roles Uncovered. Tech Roles Uncovered is a live stream series, and today it's the second episode of season number 2. And each week we are uncovering different roles in tech, always with a great guest. And the idea behind this project is to provide you real insights into tech roles and to look behind the scenes and behind the names of specific roles. And we want to provide you a realistic view on what you can expect from these different tech roles. So if you have any questions during the live streams, feel free to use the comment sections on the different channels. So we are streaming to LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. And on all channels, you will find the comment sections where you can add your questions, and then we are happy to answer them during the live stream. Yeah, and today's role that we are going to talk about has a very long name. It's called Domain Owner, Data Science, and Analytics. And I'm really excited to get to know more about what this role is all about and why it's called this way. And therefore, I invited a woman, and to say a real power woman. Of course, she has extensive knowledge in the field of data science and analytics, but I think she can introduce herself even better than I can do. But what I can say is that I believe that she is so far the most experienced like podcast guest that I have, like in terms of speaking in podcasts and on conferences. And recently, she gave a keynote at a conference called Women in Data and AI, where we also met in the lobby of a hotel, which was really nice. And yeah, this shows that she really loves to share her experience about her job, but also about how she progressed in her career with others. And it shows also that she uses her influence also to support women in tech, which is really important and which is really inspiring for me. So, welcome, my first ever keynote speaker guest. Here is Anna Hannemann. Hi, Anna.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, very exciting. Thank you for this nice introduction, and more than happy to share my knowledge with the audience.
Yes, thank you for having you. Do you know how many podcasts and conferences you have been speaking so far?
No, I haven't been counting. Maybe at certain time point I have to, and
But
have
do
an
you have
idea.
a rough guess or something like that?
I guess I spoken about this topic roughly about, I don't know, 15 conferences, and I have been to maybe 5 podcasts so far.
Wow, cool. That's good. So let's kick it off with some icebreaker question. I also brought one for you. So last time we were laughing about useless talents. Today I want to ask you, so if you had to eat one more meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Spaghetti. I can, like, if you buy me spaghetti cheese and some butter, I can always go for it. So I really will never get tired of eating this. So
So
simple and
only spaghetti?
unhealthy. Yeah, with parmesan and butter.
Okay, very simple but delicious.
Yeah.
And do you recommend any specific Italian cheese or not
No,
at all?
I really like I really as simple as it is. I can cook spaghetti myself, then add butter and cheese there, and I really will never be tired of eating it again and again.
Cool. Good. So, thank you for this insight. Then let's dive into the main topic. So, I introduced you a bit, but I think I left out the main important parts about your career so far. So, your career in data science and analytics. So, would you also like to introduce yourself from your perspective?
Yeah, for sure. So I many times let's start with my background because I guess that just makes me a person what I am today, and why I'm really good suitable for this role. I have studied a computer science, so really classic computer science. And I have been working also for 3 years at Zalando as a product manager over classic software development, I would
Mhm.
say. Yeah. So like developing software, putting into production. So I know how it's really, really operates and the high pressure. And beside it, I have another part of my experience where I have done PhD in the area of data science. Back then it was called data mining, but today you would put a fancy tag onto it, data
Mhm.
science. And then I switched to Metro. I was first product owner for recommender systems and then transitioned to the role of domain owner for the whole data science and analytics. And what I think is a great combination is that on one hand side, I know how to build software and how to put in production. And I understand all the importance of like being it scalable, security issue, governance, and so on. And on the other hand side, I bring this understanding of data, data analytics, data science. And I guess it's given me personally a boost. So I came over and said, like, okay, we stopped doing any script here, script there. It's all distributed, very manual flows. Someone needs to click on certain buttons every month to trigger the flow. I said, like, it won't scale. I mean, you can do it for a certain period of time, and maybe for certain tasks when you're still in POC, it will run. But I really like joined Metro, looked at it, and I understood it's a great idea. I had back then only 2 people, but good people. Nevertheless, it's like there was a whole time in this, like, getting in requests from countries because, look at in Metro, and Metro is presented back then was even 25 countries. So you're getting all these requests, you're manually adjusting something, and then, you're executing it. So, like, more or less 5 days per month were spent on this back and forth and adjustments. And I said, like, "Okay, why don't we go for the same process we have been already from software development, that we completely automate the flow. There is an endpoint, and whosoever wants to use it needs to be connected to the endpoint." And because I have seen this kind of two worlds, I was able to bring it to data science.
Mhm. Yeah. Cool. So you mentioned Metro already. Now, people that know you, that know that you are at Metro Digital, which is a spin-off of the Metro Group. Can you also like give us one, two sentences about this company?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, Metro is a very big, huge company, currently present in 22 countries, I guess. And it has kind of country organization, it has a central corporate, and this has Metro AG, which is an IT daughter, if you want to have it, of
Mhm.
Metro. And it's separate in the sense that you can create a different culture, which is very startup like. You can develop in small cycles, you can follow the scrum approach, and I guess it's the right choice. So the separation is really a good thing, and it's more or less, but you're kind of like a development company with a main customer being Metro. And
Mhm.
Metro, for people, I don't know if it's needed to introduce, but in case there is someone who doesn't know Metro, it's a very big wholesaler. And wholesale means like it's focused mainly on B2B, so business to business. Our main customers are hotels, restaurants, and caterers. And the great thing about being at Metro as a data scientist, and I'm not promoting now the company, but in order to get into the store, you need to have an ID,
Mhm.
and that means now for everyone, data scientist and data analyst on the other side of the screen, you can already imagine every transaction is assigned to a customer. So what
Yeah.
the other companies try to collect with some kind of payback points or whatsoever, try to find out, okay, customer personalized information, we have it directly there.
Mhm. Yeah. So data is like you have many data available, so it wasn't only a matter of time until you build up your own data division within Metro Digital in order to really use the value from the data and to build data products. Cool. Maybe before we go deeper into your role, maybe can you also give us maybe a rough idea of a use case that you are like working on or that you have seen over your years in Metro Digital that is solved by data science and analytics?
Yeah, so I would say we have covered all classic ones. And before I continue naming the use cases, I would just, because sometimes people reach out to me and say like, oh, we would love to start data science. Where should we start? Where should we search for use cases? I would really recommend you go to Google, you Google your area. For example, for me, it was retail
Mhm.
top 10 data science cases, and go for the most kind of successful ones. Yeah, so don't
Mhm.
try to invent something what is not there. It's enough if you manage to go for top 5 and realize them, you're already very successful. And yeah, we are not different there. We have, as I said, already started with the recommender systems when I came. It means that if you go to online shop, you will see, I don't know, searching for banana. So you will have pictures underneath saying, okay, people who are also buying banana, we're also interested in, I don't know, grapes. So
Mhm.
that is a recommender system. Then we have churn prediction, which tries, in our case, in case someone doesn't know, traditionally it predicts that the person will not prolong their contract. In us, we try to predict that the person will stop buying with us. We have price optimization, which tries to say, okay, what's the optimal prices and also optimal discounts, because in our case, you can really buy in bundles, and we have this huge customers, who might come and buy, I don't know, 50 packages of milk. Yeah, then we try
Mhm.
to be attractive and see what discount we can offer and what are the right steps, it's so-called tiers,
Mhm.
are interesting for our customers. So we have a assortment optimization. So more or less, what should we be selling? What should we not be selling? We have, for example, in very interesting use cases, markdown. It's about, assume you have still 100 yogurts left.
Mhm.
They're expiring in 3 days. You would love to sell them because you don't want to throw them away. No food waste. Also, like you want to sell them. And at the same time, you still don't want, like, for sure, if you put like 90% off, you will sell all of them, but you will not earn money. And the model tried to go for an optimization, searching for what is the minimum discount you should give to sell the maximum, so to say.
Mhm.
A very, very exciting use case, because it's also reduced the waste, food waste, and so on.
Mhm.
Then we also given credits, so we have a credit scoring like in a bank. So I
Ah,
would say,
okay.
in total we have 8 use cases.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think the first ones that you explained are quite the traditionals, like the traditional ones, the classical ones that, like, I think many data scientists see and know, like this churn prediction and assortment planning and so on, especially in retail. But the last one that you mentioned is something I think quite specific for grocery shops that like have products with a, like, how do you say that, with an expiring date or
B-
something like that?
BDB, you call it
Yeah,
BDB,
yeah.
best before day.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, cool. Thank you for the insights. Now let's turn like our conversation more into your role at Metro Digital. So you are, like, your role is called domain owner, data science and analytics. So what do you understand, or how would you describe this role, like in very few sentences?
Yeah, I get, like, there are two components to it. On one hand side, I'm a people manager to all data scientists and data analysts within the company, so everyone who
Mhm.
holds this type of a role. On the other hand side, I'm also responsible for some strategic concept in the area of data science and analytics. So I would
Mhm.
split it in these two components.
So you have on the one hand side this people management, what you most of the time see with engineering management. So
Mhm.
when you want to compare it to like the traditional claims for these kind of roles, oftentimes in software engineering you hear the term engineering management, and on the other hand side you have more strategic task. Is that, or does it come from your previous roles as a product manager, so that you would say that's your product leadership role that still comes in?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually it's on one hand side, so it's really within our organization, it's the same as an engineering manager. So on
Mhm.
paper, it's somehow like equals because we have all these levels. It's the same like an
Mhm.
engineering manager. And if you look into classic engineering manager, it's a person who leads a lot of many engineers. Yeah.
Mhm.
However, in my case, I would say it's then developed a little different because there is a specific on data and data science and data analytics. Then I also expected to contribute to some strategical topics, for example, data quality or data governance or data strategy. Also, it's for example, if one party will reach out to us and ask, okay, we would love to implement this use case in the data sciences. I play also a gateway there. For example, if the business will come and
Mhm.
say, we have now a situation if we can optimize our transportation routes. So they're coming, I'm the gateway. I see if we have if it has a potential and makes sense. First of all, sanity check always there.
Mhm.
Then we are like looking if we have people who would love to take over. And for example, the person will justify what is the situation. There is a data given, is it really reasonable to do? And then again together with me and based on all these results we will say okay, we would love to have this use case, we need a budget, and we start the big bank out of it. Obviously no, it doesn't have a potential. Being also said, that is a great also second part. So being the like I really need to understand the use cases, I need to understand the request,
Mhm.
and I need to handle the resources really to say I have a person to look into it. No, we don't have a person, let's hire someone. Who do we
Mhm.
need to hire?
Mhm. Yeah. And like for the naming, why or how did you come up with the naming of domain owners in the specific field of data science analytics?
I guess it's like it's developed. It's our like naming within the company. So
Mhm.
we have kind of domain owner and the as next one unit owner. And I guess just if you put it somewhere equivalent to the other companies, you would often hear something very similar: head of data
Mhm.
science. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we have this domain owner, so that is the level of responsibility. But at the same time, I have this kind of focus on data and
Mhm.
data analytics and data science.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you mean very comparable to head of
Mhm.
position or maybe also director decision positions in other companies. But maybe what I assumed from reading this title is that it probably comes from your organizational structures because as I said, you have been to multiple podcasts and other live stream shows where I also watched these shows, and I remember one or two shows where you explained the metrics organization within Metro Digital. So would you say that it's probably also coming from like your organizational structure?
Yeah, for sure. You're totally right now mentioning it. Yeah, we have a metrics organization. I don't know if the audience knows what it is. I guess originally coming from Silicon Valley companies like Google.
Mhm.
And the idea is you have on one hand side product managers who are more or less telling to the developer what they should do, but not kind of administrating them. And then like that just goes this way, like a vertical, and horizontally you have this uh, full stack developers who do report to their people lead.
Mhm.
And the original motivation, so my understanding of the original motivation to separate these two forces, yeah, product management and people management, was to pull out this like, because otherwise if it's in the very old past, if you were having project manager and he was like,
Mhm.
people were reporting to him and he was responsible that project is successful, in the end he or she was totally competing with himself. So more or less
Mhm.
imagine, I don't know, you, Sarah, you're my direct report. Actually, we agreed you're going to do that in the training. But on the other hand side, I want the project is finished. So I
Yeah.
always will push it back with your training saying, the project's a project. If you pull it apart, then the people lead can always come and say, yeah, I understand that you have the project, but we promised Sarah to be able to participate in this training. And I do believe it's the right thing to do.
Mhm.
So that is for the matrix organization. Yeah.
Mhm.
So product development, people development. In our case, it also works as it is. For me, however, it's a little like ended up to be a more complex task because I have my data scientists and data analysts spread all over different product teams.
Mm-hmm.
So they would be sitting in many different products. And I always, if I try to explain to people, I make a comparison to UX and having a front end. If you have a product with a front end, then you might need a UX UI person. If your product doesn't have a front end, then you don't need UX UI person. And maybe if a front end is very complex, then you have three of UX UI person. It's the same setup we have also for data science and analytics. And it's kind of, I have some teams where I have up to 5 people, which are
Mm-hmm.
reporting to me, some product teams. And I have, but in most cases, it's 1, 2. So they're spread over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I present an umbrella, I'm bringing them together. And if I have, for example, now a web development team and an app development team, just one analyst each, through me, they come together and exchange. For example, we have bi-weekly catch-ups for data analysts, bi-weekly catch-ups for data scientists, where they share, where they kind of come together, where they review their code, where they do presentation of what they have learned, and thus they're not feeling, okay, I'm the only one data analyst, and there's like 5 full stack developments around
Mm-hmm.
me.
Okay. So my first assumption, as I said, the strategic one is the product part. That was completely wrong because you have the product managers, you have the people managers, you are more on the people part, but still you have the strategic influence, of course, on the data science and analytics initiatives because of your expertise that you bring into the role. And that is more where where you're influencing also the development, but not from a product management perspective, because therefore you have several roles in the company. Cool. Yeah. However, what I found out is before you had been a domain owner, you were a senior product owner at Metro Digital already. So, how did you transition into this role? Can you remember? I don't know. It's already some years ago, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, back then it was in the sense I was a product owner of, it's always switches even with our organization. One time it's product owner, product manager, but back then it was product owner for recommender systems. And we were like from this script area, which I described in the beginning, we really transitioned to being a product team. And then we added a churn use case, and I have seen, okay, there's also a need to split it. But I have seen more and more the needs that people do report to someone who has an idea about data analytics, data science,
Mhm.
because so people want to respect their manager, I would say,
Yeah.
and they want to have someone, especially in the area of data, they want to have someone who really understands their language, who, like, as I just explained, yeah, you're the only data
Mhm.
analyst in the team out of 7 other full stack developers. You want to have someone who is connected to you. And yeah, I reached out to our top management. There were some discussions. I said, really, people need someone who understands them. And it's back then at the same time, as I said, I also was pushing very much that the product needs to be splitted, and it was obvious that we will grow in this area. And I just to give you a number, when I transitioned to the role, I will having 8 direct reports, and today I
Mhm.
have 28. So
28.
yeah,
That
so
that's
it
mhm.
was growing, and it has been growing, so it's really had happened. And that was
Mhm.
like my message: if we want to grow in this area, it's need to be somehow put in an umbrella onto it.
Mhm. Okay. 28 people as a direct reports. I assume there that it comes with some challenges. What is your experience? Is it like what are the biggest challenges nowadays as a people lead?
I mean, it's just too many. So that is main challenge. I have just explained. I have 2 components: people
Mhm.
leadership plus Or people responsibility. I would really most say it's responsibility. You feel
Mm.
responsible for the people, that everyone is also happy and satisfied and get what they need at the moment.
Mhm.
And on the other hand side, it's also expected that I'm kind of contributing to data strategy and the other initiatives. And if you listen to some other podcasts and so on, there's so much about being empathic leader, listen to
Mhm.
people, and I totally into it. So it's really like how I feel. I do really think that I need to listen to people, know if there's something going wrong. But then it's always like I have the feeling it's very difficult to hold it in balance. So your
Mhm.
eyes are focusing more on people, on more on strategy, and with this amount of directs, it's sometimes really challenging to do the boss parts to the level I personally would wish for.
Yeah. Questions that I always get, especially when it comes to this transition from a more hands-on role to a leadership role, which also maybe entails people leadership. People often are afraid that they are losing their expertise they gathered in the last years when they're working hands-on with data, and then when they turn to leadership, they have other responsibilities where they are missing the time to code, for example. What is your view on this? Do you think it's like, do you think the like being afraid is like for real? So should they be afraid of losing their knowledge, or would you say no, they still can have influence and they still have competence, but maybe in another way?
Well, there are two answers to it. So first one, so if you now directly ask me if I do code, I haven't coded in the last several years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is it, just what I said. 28 direct reports plus strategical decision. There is no room for doing it. It just you have to be clear about it. Am I still able to contribute and make the right decision or to support my people? I do.
Mhm.
Because first of all, you have your background. I mean, no one is taking your general understanding how
Mhm.
data science work out of EU. Secondly, we do, for example, those catch-ups, what I mentioned. It's really great. It goes there every second week. There's a new presentation. I listen to it. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
capable of understanding what the people are doing, and I know what they're doing. And also, by the way, we are now in podcast. I do like go joggings and I listen to some podcasts and know what the use cases are happening there. And if it's more about being up to date, understand what is
Mhm.
happening in the world, for example, generative AI. So it's public information. Have a partnership with Google, so all our projects are on GCP, and we also have run some trials and investigations on generative AI. So
Mhm.
I found someone in the team who wanted to try it out. Again, the people tried it out and showed to the rest what were kind of highlights and lowlights.
Mhm.
I'm present there, I'm listening to them. Yeah, but
Mhm.
I have no opportunity to do it myself.
Yeah.
But you have to be aware that this technology is there. You have to be aware also to put resources to listen, to come to those presentations, to listen what the people have done. But if you think someone spent 2 weeks, I now have participated 1 hour meeting and then like got the result together.
Mhm.
Nevertheless, what I would love to share with the audience, if you is very happy being a data scientist, being doing a hands-on job, then really review if kind of this people management role is something for you. And I'm very happy to say that actually there is a trend today into the direction being like this expertise career where you
Mhm.
just get a tech lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, for data science, there are also a lot of decisions need to be done. Is it like how the pipeline is structured? What type of modeling technique needs or method should be taken? So that can be then, if you say, okay, I want to have the next step, but I don't want to lose my really on-hands experience, a kind of a tech lead in the
Mhm.
data science should do the job.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. 100% I agree. Definitely. And it's nice to see that also in German companies, these alternative career ladders are ramping up these days. So alternatives like you mentioned, these like deep technical excellence career path, calling it tech lead, calling it architect, calling it whatever. Staff engineer is also a new term that comes up since a couple or has been used in the last years. So if you feel that you are more into the technology part and you don't want to leave that, please consider to go more into this alternative part. It's also needed because like software engineering, data analytics, and data science, these areas are so complex and they are developing so fast that you need people that have like a huge competence in the technical fields. And there are options to share leadership, like as you also mentioned, to share leadership across multiple persons, so that others that are more into this people managing part, they go maybe something like into the direction like you do, Anna, like engineering management, domain owner, and others can try to go into the specialists part, the tech lead
Mm.
part.
If I may, maybe to add something also may be interesting to other people, we were also thinking, okay, what is for us? And we just, I don't know, half a year ago, we created a role which is called Data Science Core.
Mm-hmm.
And core is a kind of, yeah, this middle. And that is for
Mm-hmm.
me the person who kind of advise others,
Mm-hmm.
more junior people, or like which now modeling technique to pick,
Mm-hmm.
or for example, I have a team which wanted to do the transition to Vertex AI, and the team was pretty junior, so they wanted someone who will like, define the steps, and they will
Mm-hmm.
execute and guide them through the process. So that is also what our data scientist core person was doing, and also like advise people, onboard people, review some POC requests. So that is our approach. We call the data scientist core has created it, but I also see the need data scientist and a data analyst core and data engineer core still needs to be created.
Yeah. Yeah, and as a people lead, I think you also, yeah, you are doing a lot with career progression and help people to grow in their careers. There is a question that I think comes from a more like a beginner in data. This person asked, "I am in business development and customer success management." And
Mhm.
want to get into data analytics. Which tool should I go for? Is it, yeah,
Yeah.
is it important to choose for a tool?
I mean, that's a little the question what the person should do. To be honest, I have no experience with Power BI, but I know that really a lot of companies is using it. So if you
Mhm.
want to like focus on Power BI, I have a private friend. She's also like seen where she is developing it. For example, her company do use Power BI today. She is not in this area, but her company is using it. So I told her like search how you can get onboarded there, how you can get trainings because you're already there. And when you negotiate next time with your manager, just to ask for trainings. And surprise, surprise, she got it. So and like if it's already in your company, it's easier to get it. So go for it. And I'm pretty sure that there's enough jobs where Power BI will be useful. I mean, SQL is generally really the basis of data analytics. I haven't seen SQL without a data analyst without any SQL. Python is nice to have. I mean, we would love to have people who have SQL and Python knowledge. We do not stick to any dedicated analytical tool. Nevertheless, even we are not using Power BI, but someone really shows that he or she is professional in these tools, and it's a plus because that the person knows already some analytical tool. Great.
Mhm. Would you make different recommendations if people come and say, I want to be a data analyst, or somebody that comes and say, I want to be a data scientist? So is it different
Yeah. So
for you?
I don't know. At least for me, I can really like kind of draw a statistic in the area of data analytics. I have among my direct reports, I have many people who hasn't been originally data analysts.
Mhm.
I have many people coming from controlling. So like, already with numbers being able to create some SQLs, and they have done some courses on top, and that was pretty fun, really totally enough. I have one very special case, someone who studied Japanese,
Uh-huh.
uh, also managed. Data science, on the other hand, I would really say you need more background. It's
Mhm.
just like, I mean, don't get me wrong. So data analysts who are coming from controlling in my team, they're also very experienced in numbers. They are also very experienced in SQL, but it's something different just to change maybe a way of working than coming completely not like, I don't know, you have studied business economics. And then now you decide I'm data scientist, it can be difficult. So I would say start with analytics for sure.
Mhm.
It's more easier. For data science, you need to study it, or maybe having like, I don't know, if you have studied mathematics or statistics, then okay, for sure a certain course will do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, for the audience watching us right now, if you have further questions, use the chance. We still have some minutes left. So, if you want to ask Anna anything specific about her job, about her career, maybe get any more tips about how to enter a specific role or like the field in general, use the chance right now. And meanwhile, we can continue. There comes a thanks that we want to show. Thank you.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome. And meanwhile, we can continue with the next question. So, yeah, how would you describe a typical day as a domain owner in data science and analytics?
I guess I can't just remember any very typical day, but I would really say I first always try to focus a certain part of my day, like in the beginning, to check are there any personal issues, because I really would. So for me, empathy is an important word. It's not just because it's currently like fancy and everyone believes in it. I'm really like a people person. So I first check this part. If there's anything, I don't know, special, I need to get something free, or like special cases where extra vacation days need to be arranged. And then I really focus more on strategical tasks. So I would say really like 1-2 hours dedicated to people management, and then I go for strategic task, trying also not only to focus on meetings, but also on like writing a strategy paper
Mhm,
or aligning between different parties, how we can move on, for example, with POC.
mhm.
No.
Okay. So, how many meetings do you have usually per day?
Too many, too many, too many. But maybe what I would love also to add, just many times I have the feeling that I'm a kind of a negotiator, because I'm trying, like someone comes with an interesting idea and I'm trying to negotiate, how about this and this person, could they try it out? Because I don't have an extra people. Yes, all people are reserved to products, but then I like who can do it, and then I go to product
Mhm,
manager, say, how about I steal 20% of this person, but then you can have this and that, or blah blah blah. So I'm
mhm,
a kind of a negotiator, bringing that, ensuring that we have a way forward.
mhm. So, like people management in the terms of taking a look if everything is fine so far.
Yeah.
So, if everyone has everything that he or she needs to make good work, and then negotiating. So, if you have new initiatives to make the staffing, thinking about who can do the job, so to say.
Yeah, and make it happen. I mean, sometimes
Mhm,
it's job, sometimes it's resources, sometimes it's like, uh, yeah, whatsoever is missing. So I'm kind of
mhm.
trying to be an enabler.
Yes, and I think I like last week I read something like being glue, which is really like it fits perfectly here because you are the glue that is connecting all the different projects, people, ideas, potentials, everything together by like you knowing the people, you know where they want to like progress in the future, and then you can combine it with upcoming initiatives or requests from like from other departments.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, talking of strategy, you said you sometimes you are doing strategy papers, writing strategy papers, and working strategic. Here's a question that is not related to your task, but more on what Metro Digital is currently doing regarding data strategy. I don't know if you are able to talk about that
Yes,
in generally.
sure.
So what kind of strategy do you use? A data mesh, warehouse, lakehouse, or even Swamp? Thanks. And first of all, thank you, Matthias, for your question.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Matthias. Yeah, I'm able to answer this question. So it's a clearly data mesh. We have started to transition to GCP like around 6 years ago. So it was from the very beginning already a data lake, but over the time it was very interesting. And at a certain time, like this was data lake, and then data mesh come as a new, I don't know, fancy thing what everyone wants to do. And then I sat down once and like was reading about this 4 pillars, what they say, and they're like, oh, we have already reached the 4 pillars. Yeah, I am, but coming back because Sarah, you fairly asked if I am kind of an expert on it. I'm a stakeholder. So me and my people are stakeholder of data mesh. So we have
Mhm,
dedicated two teams who are building the underlying infrastructure, for example, such parts like data catalog, the governance and so on. Where I'm kind of come into play is that, for example, we have this ownership in business domains. Yeah, so more or less your product team, assume your product team is developing an app, and your product team is collecting the events the customers making on this app, and it's them who define the structure, how these events are structured, saved, and stored in the data mesh, and they are also responsible to provide the access, to reject the access, and everything. So more or less, we have the central team who says, okay, that is I'm
mhm,
enabler, you
mhm,
have the area, and then we have this domain responsibility for the data and not
mhm,
the central one. So it's like clearly data mesh,
mhm,
which also has like drawbacks and advantages.
mhm. Good. Thank you for answering this question, and I hope Matthias is happy with the answer. Thank you for that. And yeah, also coming, no, wrong one. Coming to the last question already, because we are heading to the end of our stream. And one of my most favorite questions that I like to ask is if you had any career booster in in your life, or did you had maybe some person who was supporting you during your career, maybe also or especially in the beginning of your career, or was it a book that inspired you, or anything else that you can imagine that was really like a huge advantage to your for your career?
I was thinking about this question. I actually was not able to identify this dedicated career
Mhm.
booster. Nevertheless, I would love to say that I generally surrounded by many, many nice people
Mhm.
who do kind of challenge me, believe into me. I would love to name some, but then I'm scared that I miss some others. And I guess just like being surrounded by motivated people who are willing to listen to you and give you an advice, that is very important one, and it helped me to believe in myself and also to master every day.
Mhm. Wow, nice. I think good ending here. Inspirational ending. Thank you very much for your time, most of all, Anna, that you were sharing your insights on the role. And I think we now have a quite good understanding what a domain owner in data science and analytics is doing. Yeah, maybe I sum it up and give some, one, two sentences about what is coming next. And then I will hand it over to you for the last words, Anna. So, yeah, thank you very much Anna, first of all, but also thank you very much for the people watching us who were following us. By the way, check out our YouTube channel. There you will find all the recordings of our live streams. And if you like it, it would be really cool if you give us a thumbs up and maybe also subscribe to our channel, because then we can increase the reach and any other and more people can find us on YouTube. This would be really great. Yeah, and next week, we are continuing with this series, and I will have another power woman with me, and we will discuss the role of a research scientist. So I'm also really excited to learn more what this role is all about. And yeah, if you have any more questions regarding our formats or what we are doing at Tech Leaders Academy in general, you can always write me on LinkedIn or contact us via our website. And then I'm happy to answer that questions. And yeah, that's it for today. And last but not least, I will hand it over to Anna, maybe for the last words. And then that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I guess a very good last word would be that I would love to encourage everyone from the audience to build a kind of a data network. And I was just thinking back how we personally actually met each other. So we also met each other over, I guess, podcasts, and we were trying to create a workshop together. And I guess by being connected to so many fantastic people, you're also growing yourself. You're seeing the new perspective, and that is the one which can be your career booster, but also your personal growth. And yeah, do it, go for it. People in data community are very open to exchange.
Yes. So thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.